You may wake up one day and have a partner that you've never met with. So when I'm speaking with a business owner, the conversation surrounding buy-sells comes up relatively frequently because it is the document that can help to protect what you've built when you are in partnership with multiple different owners. But many owners that I talk with either have a buy-sell agreement that has been sitting on a shelf that has not been updated in years, or they have one that has not yet been funded. And once it's created, you probably never think about it again until you need it. And by that point, it's too late. And as a certified financial planner and exit planning advisor, it's my job to bring up these issues before they become problems later in life when you're least expecting it. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Kyle Glenn. In today's video, we are going to cover buy-sell agreements, the triggering events on how a buy-sell agreement comes in force, the three main structures that buy-sell agreements are put in, and how the actual agreement is funded. So let's just jump right in. In the financial industry, we use the term 5 Ds when it comes to how a trigger event occurs within a buy-sell agreement. The first D is death. This is one that many business owners think about. If one of their partners dies, what happens to those shares in the partnership? Do they get given to the spouse or to the children of the deceased partner? Or do the other partners have the first right to be able to buy those shares back? And if so, what value surrounds those shares to be able to make it fair to the family of your deceased partner? The second D is disability. This is another common one, but I often see unfunded, is how do we deal with the disability of a partner? If the buy-sell agreement does not define what disability even means in the context of your business, you are setting yourself up for a risky situation because they still own their shares. They still have a role in the company, at least from a legal perspective. Do they still receive compensation? How should those shares be transitioned to the remaining partners? The third D is divorce. Now, what happens if your partner gets divorced? Their ex-spouse may have a claim on your partnership interests. Now, the way to protect against this is within the buy-sell agreement to put a first right of refusal clause in there, allowing partners that already own shares the first right to buy those shares at a fair market value. This can help to prevent unwanted parties joining the ownership table that you had not intended ever to be a part of the ownership group. Now, D number 4 is a little bit different. It's departure. What happens if a partner just wants to leave? Either they want to retire, they want to start up another business. If the buy-sell agreement does not account for this, they may have the option to sell it to whoever they want, even a competitor. Now, ideally, you're not getting into business where that would be a situation, but a really easy way to do this would be to put in a first right of refusal. That way, if a partner wants to leave, that's fine. We now have a mechanism in place where the remaining partners can buy those shares and then be able to continue the operations of the business. The final D is disagreement. This really is most important for 50-50 partners where you get deadlocked about the direction of the company. A way to prevent against a disagreement causing rift and strife within the partnership is to have a shotgun clause. What this does is it has one partner set a price. The other partner can either buy at that price or sell at that price. Now, here's the benefit of that. It causes each partner to be reasonable. You're either going to be forced to be bought out at the price that you're setting or fork up the cash for that price. Or if anything else, it helps to have this conversation so that you can then come back into agreement because maybe the price is not worth the amount of disagreement that you're having. Now that we know what the triggers are, we need to know what kind of structures you can put yourself in. The first structure is the cross-purchase agreement. What this really works for is for several partners, maybe 3 or less, in a business. This allows the partners to buy the shares of the departing owner. But the second structure is more important when you have multiple business owners, more than 3 or 4 in the group. What this is called is entity structuring or stock redemption. This requires the business to purchase the departing owner's shares. This does not require any of the remaining owners to have any personal money into the deal, but it does require the business to have funds set aside in the event of a departure. And then the final is a hybrid or wait and see. This is kind of the best of both worlds. It first starts off at an entity level where the business has the first right of refusal to buy those shares. It then goes to a cross-purchase level where the business owners themselves are able to purchase those shares. If the business owners do not want to, they then have options that are predefined in the buy-sell agreement on how these shares can be sold, either to a third party, to a spouse, or to a child. And with this type of structure, now we need to know, how do we fund it? With the first two Ds, death and disability, it's relatively simple to transfer the risk that you're taking on by buying insurance, specifically life insurance and disability insurance. For the other three Ds, divorce, departure, and disagreement, you have to fund it slightly different. One way to do that is through a sinking fund. You can set money aside throughout the course of the operating of your business so that in the event of a departure, you have those funds available to buy that owner out. There is no death or disability that can kick in to be an insurable risk transfer for you, so you really just need to set the money aside. But another way that you can set it up is through an installment sale set up through the buy-sell. If an owner departs, gets divorced, or disagrees with you, you can set it up with an installment note over a period of years. That way it can be paid through the cash flow of the business, and you might not have that opportunity cost of just having a lot of cash sitting in a bank account. Now, every approach has trade-offs. That's why you need to have your attorney, your CPA, and your financial advisor all at the table so that you know the legal, tax, and risk transfer perspectives of each structure so that you can set it up correctly. The main takeaway I would like for you to have with this is that a buy-sell agreement should help protect you against the 5 Ds, not leave one susceptible, leaving problems in the future that you may have to face. If you found this helpful, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I make content like this for Main Street business owners like you that are trying to navigate difficult situations and planning items within your business and your personal finances. And if you're sitting on a buy-sell agreement that has just been sitting in a drawer that was not updated for years, or you have one that is not yet funded with insurance, click the link below and schedule a time with me and my team, and we'll walk you through your situation complimentary. I would rather have a 30-minute conversation with you today than a 3 to 4 hour conversation years from now when you're trying to weed through the mess that could have been avoided. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.